You're listening to Dairy Voice by Dairy Business News, a podcast exclusively for the dairy industry.
One of our sponsors of the Dairy Voice podcast is National DHIA. NDHIA ensures information accuracy and represents their members' interests. They are the direct voice for the dairy information industry. To find out more, go to dhia.org.
Hi, I'm Tim Hammerich. Looking for your next podcast? Check out the Fresh Cow Files from Zoetis, where we'll discuss hot industry topics including antibiotic stewardship, employee training, transition cow periods, and more.
If you show that you're invested in this farm and that you care about those things like consistency and reaching production goals and reaching reproduction goals, and then invest in your employees, you will have a more productive, a more efficient, more profitable farm.
So if you're ready for some eye-opening insights, I sincerely hope you'll join us on the Fresh Cow Files, available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome to our newest episode of the Showbox Sires series, The Evolution of the Great Cow, where we introduce people from around the world who are involved in the cattle business to our listeners through the Dairy Voice on Dairy Business. We've brought you many different people from around the globe, and today we're extremely excited to introduce one of our most influential people that Mike and I deal with. We are now partners on some things, and we look forward becoming more involved with this operation. But it's my pleasure today to introduce Marco Quaini from Castelverde, a beautiful farm in Italy that is known around the globe for their great genetics and their great hospitality when you're in their country, and also being leaders in everything that goes on in the Holstein world. So Marco, welcome to you.
Oh, thank you, Tim. I guess I'm not much of a public speaker, but it's certainly a huge honor and privilege for me talking cows with cowboys like you.
Well, that's exactly what we do on this, Marco, and that's why it's so much fun. You know, we do just sit around like we're sitting on the showbox talking about cows. There's certainly no one with any brighter, stronger history than Castelverde when you talk about the global Holstein business. One thing that I love about this podcast, it brings the whole world together. And Marco, before we even start, talk about how the world has become in your young life, how it's become one global business anymore, hasn't it? It's not Europe versus the United States versus Canada. It's global.
It's getting like a family affair, and that things, keep me loving what I do, and I enjoy so much that particular thing it's happening. That's why I think you guys should come to Cremona show. It really, the enthusiasm, the atmosphere you can see over there, over here, it's something unique. You only can see it if you go North America shows or visiting North American barns and staying with North Americans breeders. So it's something really, really special is happening.
Successful dairy professionals get it. Optimizing feed efficiency is key to optimizing milk production, and that's especially important when margins are tight. What you put into your herd's ration is essential to the performance you see later. That starts with fermentation in the rumen, which supports increased milk production and milk component yield. Talk to your Purina representative today about adding Purina Animal Nutrition's Efficiency Fermentation product to your herd's ration.
Well, and we'll go back to that again, Marco, but you're just coming off Cremona, and you and your family are some of the big promoters in getting North American breeders over there. Tell us just quickly about how you've done that, and we'll finish with an invitation for people, but tell us, our listeners, a little bit about what you've done to get people over there. It's really interesting.
Try to make happen what our dad really wanted to happen. I remember one day he told us, "Hey guys, I want to pretty soon one day this show to be one of the greatest of Europe." We're trying to. It's getting bigger and bigger and year by year. Like I said, a lot of internationals are coming, a lot of people from abroad. They love staying here and enjoying enjoying these few days with us. I think I'm not afraid to tell that pretty soon gonna be one big show.
It's exciting, and we'll finish with a little more on this, but I think it's important for our listeners to understand, how important this is for the global Holstein business. And my partner Mike Duckett will be on here a little later in this podcast, and he's coming back from Cremona just a couple days ago, and we'll get his recap, Marco, of what it was like. But we thank you as a global Holstein industry for having the vision and your family to do this. So it's very exciting. Our listeners are going to want to hear about your operation. So let's walk through that piece by piece. First of all, your family, like any good Italian family, you want to talk family first, right? So tell us about the family involved in Castelverde.
I would start with the Castelverde Holstein name. It takes its name from a small town we live in, Castelverde, that is located just 5 kilometers from Cremona downtown. And Castelverde Holstein has been established in the late 60s, specifically 1968, when our granddad Enrico, my dad's father, bought this farm. And that's why our prefix Castelverde means family to us. So, since our grandpa was a full-time professional dentist, our dad kept running the farm since, unfortunately, you know that Tim 3 years ago moved to greener pastures in heaven. So from that moment on, in 2022, I would say our world champion mama, my two incredible brothers and I have been trying to represent and carry on what we were taught to do. That's pretty much what we are now. We still enjoying and trying to do what we love to do.
Well, I think I want to interject a second here because our listeners need to think about the passion that you have for your family. And it's your family that drives your operation, not your operation that drives your family. And
Yeah,
I think that's an important cliche that we all need to explore in our lives because, you know, your family drives your business, not your business driving your family. And I met your brother and I knew your dad, and it's certainly everyone I meet from the family. I've not met your mom, but to put up with you boys, she obviously is quite a saint, huh?
yeah.
Great to know where the name comes from. I don't say it nearly as well as you, but so tell us about the size of the farm a little bit, Marco.
Yeah, we own approximately 500 acres of very fertile and tillable land all around our dairy. We are located right in the River Po Valley area. River Po is the biggest river in Italy. It just cuts the north part of Italy from Turin, from coast to coast, Turin to Venice, and we are right in the middle, just an hour from Milan. Talking about our area, I would say it's not the best area where the breed cows because we got a lot of humidity and fog, and breeding cows over here because they don't like it, it's a little tougher. But we figure we can handle it. Even though dairying is a lot of work here and a lot of fun also, I still enjoy doing it.
What are your winters and summers like in general? Are you a pretty moderate climate? Would you say there's not much difference in temperatures?
Well, it's all about humidity, Tim. You should try to breed cows over here. It doesn't go, like I'm talking about Celsius degree. It goes around 40 degrees in summertime, but you can feel like 45 because of the humidity.
Sure.
And same thing in the winter time. It goes -5, -10 maximum, but you freezing your butt like, yeah.
And that, many of us live in climates like that here, but maybe not with the wet atmosphere that you have and the humidity in the air, and that certainly makes it all interesting. You mentioned the Po Valley or the Po River. That is really the best dairy section of the country. Would that be right?
That's so right because of the land. The land is so fertile, so tillable, so perfectly made to cultivate and grow your crops over here. That's why a lot of dairies are settled here around the Po River.
One thing that I remember in my trip to your farm was the overwhelming beauty of the buildings, and the history. Tell us about your facilities a little bit.
We own a dairy unit of 400 milking cows and another 500 heads of young stocks. We just built up, I would say our dad built up a new facility 16 years ago, right now. Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty happy about that. We just started milking our cows 3 times a day. We right now, the herd includes 67 excellent cows. 5 of them are excellent 95 points. One of them is 96 with 97 memory. And I would also add that our dad had the privilege to breed and own an excellent 97 point cow with Chief Mark Susie.
That's amazing. I mean, to own and breed a 97 point cow, there's so few of them in the world. The breeding and then the development of that cow is that probably put Castelverde on the map, would you say?
I don't know, but it's sometimes hard to reach that goal, but it's still a little focus we gotta one day we're gonna reach.
It's great. I think our listeners will really enjoy hearing about the area that you farm in. I would really encourage them to try to get to Italy to see your operation because it's wonderful. The part I'm excited about with this conversation is I want to pick your brain about cows. Tell us a little about your herd. You have 67 excellent cows and 5 95 point cows, something any of us would be extremely proud of. What are your goals? What are your philosophies? How do you breed cows at your operation?
I probably didn't tell that all these 67 excellent cows are homemade, and they follow our philosophy of breeding. When I speak about philosophy, our program is so simple. It's basically focused on breeding the full package of a modern dairy cow, working and try to invest on the best cow families around the globe. I think we milk basically for type and production, like I said, for making old, profitable cows. Yeah, they can last for many, many years and they can be excellent. I mean, the philosophy we always followed, we love to work on certain female bloodlines that, from my perspective, can produce that full package I was talking about.
Well, the modern dairy cow is what we're all after, no matter where you are in the globe. But I think we all see that a little differently. What are some of the type traits that are important to you when you look at a cow? What pieces of the cow herself make a modern dairy cow for you?
I personally care a lot about morphological correctness. I like cows that are extremely balanced. Since I'm just 30 years old, but I'm learned you can skip those fundamental anatomical traits if you'd like to breed a long-lasting dairy cow. So when I talk about balance and those traits, I think you gotta start from the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail. So I like to see cows with big, strong muscles, with thin tails, and in the middle of that, they gotta have a lot of openness of the chest, opening of the ribs, white rumps, perfect balanced udders, and they could turn everything they eat into milk, and they can last a long time.
I'm making notes because Mike and I need to continue to use your words to develop our program. Because you're right that Mike and I talk so much about the width of the cow, and it starts at the muzzle, and it goes to the chest, and it goes to how the rib comes off the spine. And
Yeah.
the whole purpose of that, people think we talk about utility being beauty, right?
Mhm.
And that's what it is. It's not because we want them to look that way. It's because they can process more forage and more feed and give more milk. Isn't that what it boils down to, Marco?
Oh yeah, that's right.
And tell us about your ideal rump and foot and leg structure. What do you look for in those areas of the cow?
We try to select bulls and work with families and cows. They got kind of a sloping drums. We try to keep an extra eye when we got a bull of a cow that is a little high pinned, trying to cross them and to mate them with something that tip those pins a little bit down. When you talk about feeding legs, I talking like a herdman here. When we got the free stalls over here, you gotta be careful when you select on legs. You cannot have perfectly straight legs because you're gonna miss a lot of cows because they're gonna pass over their life on the cement. Yeah, you gotta, like I said before, Tim, you gotta always think about balance and everything. Big white rams, sloped rams means you're gonna have white rear udders with perfectly ligaments and perfectly attachments, and like I said, same thing for legs. You gotta have perfectly set feet and legs, high heels. Yeah, they gotta walk, nice kind of locomotions, and built the way they can stand and can stay a lot for many years in the barn.
Mike and I talk a lot about we want our cows to be athletic, and that's just
Oh
what you
yeah,
described. We call our ideal cow athletic in the way she walks and the way she gets up. As I get older, when I get up, I shake and quiver and wiggle, and it takes me a while to get going. But these young cows, we don't want that. We want them to hop up and run to the parlor and run to the feed bunk and stand there for hours and be strong, right? And that's what you're
yeah,
describing.
oh yeah.
Are your cows on concrete most of the time?
Yes, unfortunately they are, but we set up a few paddocks we can move them on, especially in the dry periods. I wish I could have more spaces to let them out as much as I can.
I think wherever you are in the world, ground to turn cattle out on, dirt to turn cattle on is a challenge, right? There's not enough dirt, and we're not making any more. So we all face your pain there. So tell us about some of your favorite cows at Casa Verde today. A few of your best cow families, maybe that the world needs to learn about.
Well, like I told you, Tim, probably the best one, the foundation family, the foundation cow we ever bred. It's Chief Mark Susie, 97 point cow. She's a special cow to us because she probably been the only one cow in the European history that ever shown three direct daughters at the same time in the same spot at the European Championship in Brussels, 2004. 97 point cow with three excellent daughter that time, that day, I mean, showing, that was pretty special.
Do you remember Chief Mark Susie? How old would you have been when she'd have been the 97 point cow that she was?
Yeah, she got 97 point when she was 11, so happened to be 2001 or 2002. And the cow, we lost that cow at 16 years old of age. And I remember pretty good. A black big cow with the huge boxcar rump.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And so you've got many descendants from her. What about other families other than Chief Mark Susie?
I mean, I think we got around 40% of our herd carries Susie bloodline. But I can add to you two more cows that we are really happy about, and they're Castelverde Holstein Laura, another excellent 96 point cow, because she's now 13-year-old. She's bred back for the ninth calf. She's been multiple time grand champions everywhere here in Italy, and she's proving to be a nice mama as well. That's why we like that cow too. Produced a tons of milk, I can even tell you. And the other cow I will mention is Castelverde Defiant Gorgeous. That goes back from the Marple Blackstar Raven family in the fifth generation. She's a red carrier Defiant cow, 95 points. And she's been also grand champion in Cremona here in 2021.
Those are some pretty powerful names. I think anybody that follows the global industry know all three of those names. Sure, we'd love to see those cows, but it is what you've built your program on, and it's what you represent today. One thing you referenced earlier, and Mike and I've got a little experience with this now, but you have invested in some genetics from around the world. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, we try every year to introduce in our herd a new family. We believe it can bring us a lot. We recently, from your team and Mike, bought embryos from Doc Juby 16, Please and Plenty Doc Juby 16, and calves are just eating the ground now. We invested a lot the only way to focus your program and create yourself the kind of herd you want to, show everybody.
And isn't
Uh,
it fun to be
mhm.
able to introduce genetics from anywhere in the world? You pick your country and your cow and go get them, right? That it is. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. But what a dream to pick your favorite cows from any continent and go get embryos and get it done.
Oh yeah, that's why I thank you for that, Tim.
We thank you. We thank you for that. I think you'll be quite pleased with the Jubies. We think it's one of the families that has been discovered here in the U.S. What a thrill it was. Talk about a family, Marco. The Schwartzbeck family that owns Peace and Plenty. One of the greatest moments, and I've had grand champion at Madison now 4 different times. But I'm not sure the greatest moment for me wasn't when I was standing in the ring holding a cow and Schwartzbeck's Peace and Plenty was picked first best 3 females at Madison. And the emotion, think about that. You as a breeder, what would that mean to you?
That I don't know. You felt that, but I wish I can feel that thing one day. My feeling is, Tim, when you make and breed a cow, they can be world champion or grand champion in Madison or at the Royal. It's sure something special. But when you find one, you pick one, and you believe so much in her, and happen to be a surreal cow like Footloose for you guys or Juby is proving to be, I think it's even more special.
That's what makes it fun, but that's what drives us. That's why you love what you're doing and I love what I'm doing, and we have such passion for the business. I'd like to try to give our listeners education. What things in this industry, and this isn't something we talked about. I think we've done a nice job making the cow beautiful outside. Sometimes in our industry, we've not made her beautiful inside. Her udder health or her reproductive health or her metabolic health has not been as good. And we went through a frame where Holstein cows could not lay down and have calves. They did not have healthy udders, and in general. And I think we've made a huge push recently to change that. Have you seen that change as well?
What I can tell you, Tim, the philosophy you guys are having with Showbox, that someone can think it's kind of a old fashioned, or you're breeding. Yeah, could be. That's my
Yes.
opinion. Could be, but I think that's the right path to follow. Yeah, breeding on and having on your pack or your string of cows those cows. Everybody can see, everybody can appreciate the dam, the full sister. The granddaughter of your bulls of your breeding program. What I'm trying to capture and have something I can learn from.
And frankly, Madison this year for Mike and I, again, we've had champion many times, but maybe the most rewarding one ever was we had 10 or 11 bull mothers standing in our pack.
Yeah.
No one's ever done that before.
Oh yeah.
And for us, that was the dream we had when we started Showbox. And we love it that breeders around the world, like yourself, that are so influential are appreciating that. And we love the fact that Juby can influence Castelverde with daughters now and granddaughters, and maybe she can be the next great brood cow. That's exciting, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it really is.
A totally different direction here. I think our listeners would be curious a little about the dairy industry in Italy. How is it? How are you paid for your milk? What are your main products that your milk goes to?
Yeah, our we produce our milk goes right to a factory close to here. We don't make any cheese. We don't make no Parmesan cheese. We just sell our milk and like raw milk. And since the last few years, the milk market, the milk price has been fairly good for us. We decided to start milking 3 times a day. We're projecting to extend and expand our herd from 450 to 600 or 700 cows.
Well, thank you, Marco, for all that information. I want to change gears a little bit. This has been really, really fun. And joining us on the podcast, and I can't believe we've kept him quiet this long, Marco, but my partner, Mike Duckett in Showbox Sires, is just home from Italy, catching up on his farm work and catching up with the kids. he and Logan have a lot of baseball and football throwing to do, I'm sure. But Mike, welcome to the podcast. You've missed some great conversation with Marco.
Well, I definitely will. Yeah, I kind of wish I was still in Italy. It's below zero here this morning and snowing, and we're trying to get some videos for sell stuff in Nashville. So I would rather be in Italy.
I told the listeners at the start, Mike, I said you were in Italy. I said you get to do all the glamorous things and I stay home and work. But now I may want to correct that since you're taking videos of my cows selling in Nashville. Maybe you do some of the work too.
It's a good team.
It is. It is. Well, Mike, we've had a great discussion with Marco. I want to let you walk through a few questions to wrap up our interview with Marco. If you don't mind taking the ball a little bit and talking with him a little bit about what you just did at his farm, I'll let you take it away if that's okay.
We just came home from Italy, like Tim said, and we were at the Cremona show. And after the show, we went out and visited a few farms, and Castelverde was one of those farms that we visited. A very impressive operation. They had a great show with a couple of cows that won their classes and cows that stood right at the top of the class all day long. I guess you walk through your herd, Marco, I could tell that the one thing you can see that you try to breed a very consistent herd, cows that milk, cows that last, and just walking through your box stall seeing cows that are 12, 13 years old and still very productive cows. What advice do you give breeders around the globe on breeding and marketing cows and the care of cows on a daily basis?
Like I said to Tim, that's a question I would ask you. I'm just 30 years old, young dreamer. What I can say, it's just there's not only one thing of doing what we do. From what I've learned so far, you just never want to stop learning, especially when you deal with cows or animals. I mean, every kind of animals. I've been dealing a lot with horses as well, and it's the same thing. Because I remember once an old man told me, and that's a kind of a thing that I will always remember, that cows and animals in general let you talk and talk and talk, but they can also shut your mouth up pretty often. So you don't want to never quit learning.
I think, they always have the old saying, you have two ears and one mouth. You should listen twice as much as you talk. And I think that's good advice for a lot of people. And just walking through your cows, you can see a pattern of cows that you breed for. And could you just tell us a few of your favorite cows in your herd and even outside your herd?
Speaking about our herds, I personally don't have a favorite one because I love them the same way, every one of them. But to be more specific, I do believe that you might have seen her, that 2-year-old by Cosmo that was reserve intermediate champion Cremona, has got the right balance traits. I think we all love to see in a 2-year-old. And I think and I hope she'll have a bright future. I mean, she's balanced, square cut. She's got good mammary, great feet and legs. And she's pregnant again for the next year. So not just a show cow, but a cow that's easy to work with, right?
Yeah, I think you and I visited before intermediate champion, and I'm a big fan of your cow. She's every dairyman in the world, whether you're milking 50 or 500 cows, she's the right kind of cow. She's balanced in her frame. She's got strength, and she walks out on great feet and legs and has tremendous udder. And she obviously bred back for you right away. So a cow that doesn't do a whole lot wrong. And that's the kind of cow all of us can appreciate. And a cow that certainly was one of my favorite young cows at the show. You had another really nice cow, the 4-year-old. Tell us a bit about her. Or 5-year-old, sorry. Yeah, 5-year-old. The gold chip.
No problem. Yeah, the gold chip. Yeah, it's another homebred pulled out of the herd barn, the cow. She's nothing special talking about her pedigree, because she's a gold chip out of an excellent Hatwood, then a Fontaine as a Grand Dam, and she ended up to be in the middle of the ring, and she turned out quite good that day. I mean, she's another easy, pretty honest cow. I mean, she's nothing, to me, my opinion, she's nothing extreme, nothing special, but she got all the right parts put together. And that they look, I think, not too bad.
I think the key part of that whole thing is she's a cow you pulled out of your herd and took to a big, really nice show, and she did great. And I think that's the kind of cows we all are looking for. Those cows that can live in the free stall, and you give them a haircut and a bath, and they do well at the show. And that's, to me, that's the important part of what Tim and I are trying to do with Showbox Sires. And for you as a breeder, those are the kind of cows. It's pretty nice to walk out, put a halter on a cow that's running in the free stall that you haven't had to do a whole lot of prep for, and take her to a show the caliber of Cremona was, and do really well. And I think that's pretty cool cow for me to do those kind of things.
Mike came home and told me we need to make money with Showbox so he can build an operation like yours.
No, you guys, Mike, particularly at the 5 stars hotel, you don't want to lower yourself down to a 4 stars, right?
I don't know, Mike. I think 4-star hotels are dang nice, aren't they?
Really nice. Really nice.
You were just there. You and Julie just went to Italy and represented Showbox Sires and toured the country and some of that. Tell us a little about that. And then again, Marco, we'll leave it with you to invite people to the show. So Mike, can you tell us a little about your trip?
This was our first year to Cremona. I've been to Italy once before. To the Cremona show, it's a wonderful show. The competition's really good. The cattle are just the top 5-6 cows are all cows that can compete around the world. And it's a show where the breeders have so much enthusiasm towards breeding good cows. You can just see it because everyone's excited to show the cows. But I guess the one thing is it's the friendly atmosphere and the atmosphere in the ring. They put on such a great show. Everything is so well organized. We had a tremendous time in Italy, and then we went out and seen the countryside for a couple of days after the show. One of the most beautiful countries you'll ever visit. People there still want to show you their cows. They have a passion to breed a better cow, and that excites us. And I'm looking forward to going back someday.
I'll let you discover the surprise. I'll let you, every listener discover the surprise. I don't want to spoil anything more about Cremona. You guys should come over here and see. And I don't want to add anything else of what Mike just said. It's all about passion and breeder passion, true breeder's passions. I will honor to invite every one of you guys next year here.
Well, I sure hope we get some of our listeners to join you. Marco, remind me in the summer, maybe we'll get some of the other breeders on and we'll do a podcast just on Cremona. That could be very fun for us. Well, we've taken a lot of your time. It's late in Italy, and I know you're busy. But for our listeners, we love to give a global approach to how we're breeding cattle and what we're doing. And Marco, Castelverde is maybe I'm getting better at saying it, is one of the best breeding herds in the world. Your dad was one of the most passionate breeders that I've ever met anywhere in the world, and I will tell you, he is looking down, very proud of what you guys are doing at the farm, because you're as passionate as him, and you will be someday as good as him because you're learning. Congratulations! Thank you for being on this issue of the Showbox Sires podcast, The Evolution of the Great Cow. And we've said it many times, the evolution of the great cow comes from genetics, it comes from management, and it comes from marketing. Marco, I think you at your farm has done that better than most anybody in the world. So thank you for being on.
No, thanks for having me. Anytime. It's been an honor.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of our Showbox Sires podcast series on the Dairy Voice, and we will look forward to having you on future issues down the road.